John Baker, John B, and Mr. Matt.
I guess.
Mr. Absolutely. So, gentlemen, I'm pleased to turn it over to you all, but as you guys know, we're here for at the end. Any questions, any crowd contributions, or anything exciting you guys have for our night? Let's have some fun. So, without further ado, I'll turn it over to our esteemed panel here, and Mr. Kite-Powell, I think I'm going to toss it to you. And gentlemen, thank you all for being here and joining us tonight.
Thank you, Ryan.
That was a really nice introduction.
Unbelievable. Class the whole thing up here.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for coming out today. Lightning are in the playoffs once again. Making our life both wonderful and terrible at the same time. History Center. You know, but it's the fun part is we can't plan anything for the next 2 months because we have no idea. They could either go all the way, they could flame out. They've done both.
It's like my second marriage.
Exactly. Well, how'd that go?
Not good.
We didn't
He's on number 3.
No cup.
I was there for it.
Maybe
It wasn't free.
should have won a cup, perhaps.
I'm still on the injury report.
All right, so they haven't seen any of this stuff, by the way, which is always fun to kind of surprise them with the things that I put up on the screen here. And so I started this one. So usually, if y'all have been to these before, I've just done imagery. I talked about the history of whatever we're talking about today. Of course, it's hockey, but we're starting off with some fun facts. And so we will. I didn't know any of this stuff, by the way, because oddly enough, hockey is not normal in Florida. It's not like baseball and football, which has a very long history here. It's a very short history. So I didn't know anything about hockey until the Lightning came here, but quickly became a fan. But it was fun to learn a bit about the history of hockey. So they didn't have rules, at least not published until 1877. Oddly enough, they didn't even know when the first women's game was. It was either 1889 in Ottawa or 1892 in Barrie. I don't know. Which seems like an odd thing that they would know. And then, of course, Frederick Arthur, Lord Stanley, is the one who created not the Stanley Cup, but the Dominion Hockey Challenge Cup. But the following year, they realized that was a dumb name, and they renamed it the Stanley Cup. And then finally, hockey makes it south in Baltimore with artificial ice. And then they finally, again, you're looking at how long the game's been going on. In 1900, they finally decided to have a net. They didn't have a net before.
How did they know who won, though?
Well, they had 2 posts on either end of the ice. And so you would just, if it went through those posts, like almost.
They had two children holding posts on the other side, and they would shoot the.
They looked horrified. Just oh no.
They didn't use a pup, they used the smallest child.
Well, funny thing to say about the puck, that comes later. Actually, it comes right now.
They had a ball?
That's a baseball.
That's a baseball.
Is that charcoal?
I know, exactly. So, as you can imagine, the technology of all sports changes over time. And so I had one, hockey came from a game called hurley. And hurley was played on ice, but it was almost more like golf or like field hockey, where the ball rolls around, it's round, not like a puck. And apparently it's hard to control a rolling ball on ice, you can imagine that. They also, before they used skates, they used spiked shoes. So a thing like golf, basically. Running golf on ice.
So they moved, but they had spikes on their feet? Okay.
They ran after.
Sounds super safe.
Yeah.
It's kind of like curling shoes, kind of grip like that, right?
You're right.
What are you,
And
Canadian?
then they realized this ball was too uncontrollable, and so they began slicing tree limbs into little discs, and they used that. They probably realized those break pretty easily, and so somebody carved up a lacrosse ball, which is what the thing is on the far end, and they started using rubber for the puck.
This is like an X-ray of a lung that has cancer.
I know exactly.
So lacrosse is
I thought this
around.
was just a kid who got coal for Christmas.
Yeah.
They just made a game.
That's what I said. It looks like Walmart charcoal. So lacrosse has been around longer than hockey?
Lacrosse as a sport's been around longer than hockey.
It's still not as good.
It's easier to play, but yeah, it's not
It
good.
is. Well, less slippery.
Yeah.
So next we have Lord Stanley's Cup. You all are probably familiar with this, but again, y'all probably all hockey fans, so you know that that's the actual cup of the Stanley Cup. The rest of the stuff that's on the trophy are just rings of names of winners of the cup.
I wonder if he knew when he invented it how many people would drink beer out of it.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
It's like, I made
This is the one I made it for.
He was probably the first one to drink a beer out of it.
I was actually after the COVID Cup that we won. I was in Anna Maria Island doing a show because we're all comedians, and I was next door, and Cooper come walking in with the cup. And everybody's drinking beer out of it. And I'm like, they got COVID. Everybody has COVID.
But what a fun way to get COVID.
What a way to die. Yeah,
Yeah, you can wonder what Lord Stanley, happy or sad about what's become of his cup. I agree.
yeah.
So we have some pictures of early hockey games. Obviously, I played outdoors for the most part early on. You can actually see, I'll show you, use the little laser thing here. These are the pipes held up by small children, as the guy said.
Yep.
So there's a set there, and there's a set way down there. I'm sure there had to be countless arguments about whether a goal was scored or not.
So hold on, no wall?
No.
So a slap shot could kill any of them?
Any one of them.
Huh.
Exactly.
You gotta stand behind somebody.
Too bad.
Human
Too bad
shield.
These couldn't be televised. How cool would that have been?
They all had tuberculosis anyway.
All right. Ladies,
Hell yeah.
here we go. Playing hockey.
Bunch of lookers.
Yeah.
Guess they weren't busy having babies.
I don't know if she took her glasses off when she played hockey or not. That would be a little dangerous. But yeah, you know, hockey was a game for both men and women back in the day. You'll notice the sticks are all straight, they have no curve to them. That didn't come along until much, much later. It's funny how long it took them to realize if you curve the stick a little bit, you can have a lot more accuracy.
Did they play in skirts?
Yeah.
Oh.
Really?
They weren't allowed to wear pants back then.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Put your big skirt on. Yeah, they played the skirt. You can see they're wearing their skates too. You can see.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, you know they probably got right off the ice, snapped that picture, went right back on.
Got off the ice, did the dishes.
Yeah.
Back when men were men and women were men.
So here we go, 1942. This was just a kind of a neat picture, and you can note the lack of any sort of or much protective gear in this picture.
Look at the ice. It's so
Zamboni hadn't
wrecked.
come along yet.
Yeah.
I like how they don't care about their face, but let me wrap my knees up. Like, that is crazy.
They drew a good crowd. There's a lot of people there.
There's a lot of people there.
So how did they clean the ice before the Zamboni?
With
That's-
blood.
Oh, I know.
Oh, you know, great.
Okay, so they used to have like the team that lost would like hose down the ice.
That's right. That's why they call them hosers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Really? You just make that up?
No, I heard that actually. Yes.
Yeah. So.
You know where I heard that from? Esposito.
Really?
Yeah. I heard him and Chief talking about it on their podcast.
Okay.
And I was like, is he messing with us? Because they were drinking.
Well, as are you.
Yeah.
So what if, after they hose the ice down, do they have to do something like go out with a shovel or something and
I don't
smooth it
know,
out?
but
Put a
it.
squeegee.
Yeah.
Seems like that would just make it bumpy. It would refreeze.
Well, I mean, they did the best they could.
I mean, look at the condition.
It was
It's
the
not-
40s.
That ice is torn.
People are dying in World War II. They're doing their best.
Well, that's the thing, yeah. These guys are all these Canadians. The Canadians were in World War II at this time. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like they, came back from Europe so they could play the Stanley Cup.
We're only using 14 of them for the war.
Hockey
so
is super important.
It
up
is.
there.
Yes.
And so this picture, it has nothing to do with us unless you care about Toronto, but this was the first team to come back from down 0-3 in the Stanley Cup Finals to win four in a row and take the cup. And yeah, it's very well attended because hockey's very, very important to those people up north.
And even the goalies, no mask back then.
No mask. And that comes
Crazy.
Catch the puck in his
That's-
teeth.
As you would,
Yeah.
just as if you knew it was
God.
coming next. So here is
Jake
Jacques,
the Snake.
or Jake the Snake.
Jacques the Snake.
Jacques the Snake. And so Jake was not the first goalie to wear a mask. There was a mask-wearing goalie who was made fun of quite a bit the year before. But Jake had just been hit in the nose by a shot that I assume saved, because this didn't go in the net. And he said he has to wear a mask for the rest of the game. And his coach almost didn't let him. He said, no, we're getting somebody else to play. But Jacques was a better goalie, lucky for him.
I assume
He was able to
that's
wear
the mask?
And that is the mask he wore, which is still a lot of
Not good.
It looks like a child's ashtray from like 5th grade.
Gimp's asleep.
Yeah, no, that's not protecting anybody.
No. And he his face clearly very bloodied, but he went back in the game. So that's Jock, and that's the first full proper face mask that was worn. It still took a couple of years for it to really catch on for goalies to wear masks across the league. There was a lot of pressure put on the players to not wear masks and still not wear helmets.
It's kind of like the guys that wear the big giant helmets in football right now.
And they got made.
You're like, yeah, look at that nerd.
Look who's gonna have a brain. Yeah.
Exactly. But in 20 years, they'll all have giant big helmets on and be like, you believe they used to wear those tiny
Yeah, in
helmets?
20 years, those guys will be able to read and write still.
Yeah.
And
Right.
like, damn, we should have done that.
They did have some headgear that actually protected the ears, again, thinking the things you care about. Face, not so much. Ears, yeah. And so they had these kind of ear things, and then they eventually wore leather helmets. I think that might actually be the next slide. But,
Oh, that guy's
Whoa.
terrifying.
Is that
Hannibal Lecter?
I know, he's wearing the face of another goalie, apparently.
That is scary, dude.
I couldn't resist that picture because he looks like Frankenstein, or at least he stole Frankenstein's
I
face.
couldn't shoot the puck because I couldn't stop staring at his face.
Haunting.
But they would wear helmets, but again, even after they just worried about their ears, they just worried about the front and the back of the head. The side of the head still exposed, which is what you're not going to see. I don't understand. And again, they're wearing masks, but not helmets. It's super, super bizarre. And then also you can see some of the protective gear. For a long time, the goalies wore cricket padding. The game of cricket, they're padding for the legs.
Just made of crickets.
Literally had, early on, they had catcher's mitts, from baseball. And then they realized, again, they spin on their other arm, other than just another catcher's mitt, and so they had that big pad. But it just took a long time for this stuff to evolve. Longer than you ever would think. And then look how chopped up it is, how bad the ice is.
I think it's crazy. They have such an intricate logo on the jersey. It's like, oh, look at that. It looks so nice. They're like, what about our helmet? Shut up, coward.
And we have more fun facts. So again, early equipment borrowed from other sports. The puck made from lacrosse ball, cricket padding, and baseball catcher's mitt. Think about all the things that we know about hockey as far as the ice. Blue lines didn't come about until 1911, so there was just ice. You could just skate wherever you want, do whatever you want. They also decided, let's put some time limits to this. And so they decided a 60-minute game with 3 20-minute periods. So all these things kind of we take not for granted, but just think they've always been around. 1917 is when the NHL formed. And they also decided that if you're a team outside of Canada, you're actually eligible for the Stanley Cup. Didn't have a center line, red line, it's 1949. Which seems also just bonkers. 50s, when helmets came about, 55, Zamboni.
Yes.
And so there you go. Toronto versus Montreal. Yesterday was Jackie Robinson Day for Major League Baseball. 1958, so 11 years later, the first black player made it to the NHL. So a little behind the times, but it is game.
Was it a color barrier thing, or just because black people don't play hockey?
Well, it was in color barrier.
No, I'm not. That sounded bad. I'm genuinely curious.
It's a legitimate question.
Yeah.
No, it was a color barrier.
Okay.
Yeah. Because they're think about in our history before the Civil War. Of course, we had slavery here. They didn't
What?
enslave. They didn't. I know, right? Shocker. Canada didn't enslave African Americans or African-born people at that time. So it was the Underground Railroad didn't just stop in the north. It went all the way across the border into Canada. So there was
that guy got all the way up to Canada.
Yeah, he
He's like, I guess I'll play.
and then he became a star.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, his family did this. He wasn't enslaved. A little older than this.
It's kind of like when Vanilla Ice started rapping.
That's an interesting analogy.
He crossed the color border.
So 60s face mask. Yeah, 1960s. 100 years after the game started to be played, they finally realized, hey, let's let the goalies wear a mask. And then we have expansion of the NHL in 1967 when 2 teams go to California. I didn't realize that Oakland had a hockey team. They lasted until 1976. Indifference was the killer of that. And then finally hockey.
I thought it was their horrible mascot.
Apathy Club.
They had gold skates, and they were called the Golden Seals.
Oh, there you go.
No, they had white skates actually.
What?
I heard they had white skates.
They also had pink gold equipment, too.
Yeah, sorry, that's a correct.
Okay.
It's like Wikipedia is here.
Well, the
I
gold,
know.
the gold makes
Sorry.
That's
the
awesome.
gold makes sense
This
for
is
Oakland because
great.
the Golden Gate Bridge is right there. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
Well, thank you for hockey,
I
sir.
know. Apparently, the line's Canadian.
he's gonna start telling me when my parents met.
Who were the other 4 teams that joined in 1967?
Say that again.
Who were the other 4 teams that joined in 1967?
I thought you knew that.
Yeah.
That sounds like a question that you know the
I
answer
know,
to.
exactly.
My St. Louis Blues,
Oh. Okay.
Philadelphia Flyers, Pittsburgh Penguins, and Minnesota North Stars.
Ah, yeah.
Oh,
I did.
okay.
I didn't know they were called.
So
that.
those are all classic teams. They're still around. What happened to the Seals?
They went to I think
The
they
Navy.
went to Cleveland.
Let this guy run the meeting. He's got it.
I know exactly.
Something that happens to every other Oakland
We're going
team.
back to the bar.
Oakland has 0 teams.
I'm the same age as the Atlanta Flames.
And so that's why Calgary, to get an odd name for Calgary to be the Flames. But they're the Flames because they moved from Atlanta to Calgary. And so no, Sherman didn't burn Calgary. And so,
Atlanta ended up getting another team later, and then they
Right.
also did not. They moved.
yeah, they're over too.
And they moved to.
I told you, black people don't like hockey. I didn't make it up.
Where did the second Atlanta team move
The
to?
Thrashers, right?
The Thrashers.
Thrashers, yeah.
Winnipeg.
They relocated also.
They went to-
Somebody said Winnipeg.
Right. So twice Atlanta went to Canada.
They're still talking about giving them a third franchise. They don't learn anything.
Oh, goodness.
I live in Atlanta. I had season tickets to the Thrashers.
You live in Atlanta now?
No,
Oh.
they did. They do not deserve a third franchise.
Yeah, I agree.
They don't want it, and that's okay.
And that's fine. Don't
Yeah.
force it.
Don't force it on them.
I was in Atlanta the day of the Bucks playing the Falcons for opening game last year, and I was telling my wife, I don't see any Falcons jerseys on anybody. I go, what is going on?
Worst sports city in America.
But they support their soccer team. Nerds.
We're doing soccer next week.
Go Rowdies.
The
Kicking the
Rowdies?
grass. Kicking the grass. All right.
Weren't homeless people sleeping in their stadium like a few years ago?
Where?
In the Rowdy Stadium. Like
No!
there was
Get
homeless
outta
people using it as a
here.
hotel.
Oh, good lord. Maybe.
And Al Lang?
Yeah.
No idea.
It's a nice place.
Well, I guess so.
It's on the water.
Good
I
combination.
camp there sometimes.
I'm also homeless.
So now we get our team.
Yes.
1990. We are awarded a team. And so, fun thing about this is St. Petersburg wanted a team as well. Wanted a team instead of us. And so we got it.
A pro franchise in St. Pete will never work.
They, yeah, I know.
Aw.
That's we're learning
Too
now.
soon, man.
But so Phil Esposito was one of the early owners of the team. They actually had to bring in a Japanese investment group because I believe I forget the guy's name who was supposed to be the main money guy backed out, and so luckily they were able to find other people to invest in the team, and they started playing in 1992, as you can see right there, 92-93 season.
It also shows how long Roy Cummings has been writing. Did you see that? Look at.
Oh, I know, right?
Oh man, oh Roy.
I know. And so it's the Tribune, long gone Tribune.
I know. It's good times.
Pour one out for the Tribune.
I know.
Print media is dead.
I know.
Oh come on.
And then here's
Bless you.
Colonnade, where the Lightning were named. I don't know if you all know that story, but
On Bayshore.
they were having dinner at the Colonnade, which is on Bayshore Boulevard, which is now gone, a giant condos in its place. And their window seat facing out toward the bay, there was a huge lightning storm going on, and inspiration strikes.
No.
Yeah.
I really didn't know that story. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's
What were they thinking before that?
Well, it's a good thing they weren't someplace else. I can imagine other places they could have been.
It could have been the Tampa Strippers easily.
Well, I wasn't
Yeah.
going to say that, but yes, they could have been at any number of establishments.
Tampa dancers, Johnny.
My bad.
Dancers.
Tampa Exotic.
The
Dancing
Exotics.
Ladies.
Yeah, the Exotics.
Thanks.
Ooh, that's good.
I apologize.
That's good.
Yeah, see, there was possible things.
I'm not sure that's entirely true, but
It's true for now.
It's
Which part?
the story. I mean, the story does sound like a
there was
marketing
some
campaign.
controversy because they wanted to call themselves the Florida. They wanted to be named Florida, whatever.
Yeah, because the
And they were
Panthers
told
had-
no, which is why there was a lot of bullshit that took place when the Florida Panthers came in later and actually got to call themselves Florida instead of South Florida or Lauderdale or whatever.
That's cool. You know what they call the
It was
Panthers
highly
now?
controversial.
Not in the
They wanted to
playoffs.
be- They wanted to be a Florida franchise, not necessarily necessarily just.
I do remember.
Yeah.
I do remember that debate. Yes.
Yeah.
Which is insane, by the way. I would have been really annoyed if they didn't do the Florida or whatever.
Yeah,
'Cause
put
it's
Tampa
just-
on it.
Yeah, exactly. But it was not the Florida Bucks, not the Florida.
No.
It's Tampa.
Why don't some nerd in Lake City getting credit for what we're doing?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Lake City.
They're from Lake City.
It's odd.
No offense.
Odd shots in Lake City. I don't know.
Not cool.
Why just?
I just
Lake
drove
City.
through there
Too
and I
specific.
stopped to get gas and I thought I was going to get mugged, so I figured I'd talk crap about him.
Why was Espo here? Is he just invited to come, or he has connections to Tampa somehow?
No, he had no connection to the city whatsoever. And so they knew that Tampa was going to be in the running, and so they attracted him to come here to be part of the ownership group.
And like most people, he just stayed. Yeah. And I mean, we owe everything to him pretty much.
Well, yeah, and his brother was involved too, but not
It's
nearly
like
as
when-
much.
It's like when
Tony.
Washington got Jordan to come and be part owner of the Wizards. It's like, hey,
Yes.
come and watch us, please.
And that's why he's the best color commentator in all of hockey.
Phil.
Yes. Because
I would not agree with it.
no, I love the fact that he's like your angry grandfather just going, oh, come on! Right. Shoot the puck! Yeah.
Yeah, he's awful because of that.
I love it, dude. I love it.
I'm sorry.
I know, no.
Really is.
We love our sports broadcasters. We're loyal to them in Tampa. Okay, we love them.
Yeah, Gene Deckerhoff wasn't
See,
getting the players right for a while.
Stand Gene Deckerhoff. He is everything wrong.
How dare you?
Let's put a pin in that because we're not going to get into that.
Well, he was 900 years old. He's like, touchdown Tampa Bay!
And then no interception.
Fire the cannons!
Yeah.
I didn't like that he got excited for the other teams. Barry Sanders, what a great run! I'm like, stop, dude, we're losing by 40. I don't want this at all.
Didn't know you had such strong feelings about Gene Deckerhoff.
Born and raised,
We love
Tampanian
Gene
here
Deckerhoff.
first.
I can't stand it.
In
Well,
this
he
house.
says the Seminole broadcast too, which I can't stand.
Like a
No, he retired from that last year.
Okay, well-
He had some young guy doing it this year.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, apparently the Colony may not be the place they named the store, but I think they did.
It's a good story.
We are the lightning capital of the world, though, if you didn't know.
No, someone took that away from us.
Oh, well, somewhere, was it Argentina?
Something like
Eh.
that. We need more lightning.
Good. I don't.
But anyway, no,
Yeah.
they played in a figurative, not literal barn at the fairgrounds.
Yeah, I was there for that.
That's where they do the cattle auctions, and
Yes,
livestock
yes,
auctions. Yeah.
Exactly. It was literally, yeah.
It was a surreal situation. It really was, because I thought this is what hockey looked like all around the world. I was like, man, we get so many
Never
more
saw a
people at a
game
Bucks game. This is wild.
Had it been used as an arena before?
What's that?
Had it been used as a hockey arena ever before?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so.
I don't think, I mean.
No, they're just selling like strawberry shortcake and double
Yeah.
crabs during the fair.
The ice still looked like it did in the 40s.
Yeah.
They did their
Yeah, so it's
best.
basically like a galvanized wash tub that they made enlarged and filled it with water.
And the best part, if you went to those games, we were all still learning the rules of hockey. I had no idea what
No idea.
icing was,
Yeah,
what
no
anything was. So you would hear people screaming at times when they shouldn't be screaming, and it was just, everybody was confused. Everybody's like, what was that? And they're like, I had no idea. And we'd find like one guy from Canada and be like, what's going on? And he'd be like, I gotcha, you know what I mean? And I remember my favorite moment, I took my mom to one game, and she had no clue of any sports, and she was getting excited because it was a good game. We ended up going to overtime, and the goalie, I believe, was Bradley.
Was it Poopa?
Do you mean Darren Pupa?
Maybe Poopa, right?
May have been
Because
Poopa.
Mark Bradley was not a goalie.
Oh no, whoever it was, but it was one of the
Details.
one of the old guys.
Sorry.
No, thank you. But
You're welcome.
my mom didn't even know it was called a goalie. So the guy, he makes like 4 saves in like 30 seconds, and my mom jumps up and yells, "That's one hell of a holy blocky man!" And the entire section just stopped and looked over at her, and I went, "She's having a good time. What do you want me to do?" Like, but we still, my family still quotes that. You know,
She's American. She's doing her best.
she grew up in Plant City. She had no idea.
Yeah.
Already, she's doing her best.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really was. We had no. They would print things in the newspaper. The rules, all of what the officials, different gestures would be. Everything was the uniforms, all the padding. Everything was illustrated in the newspaper, so we knew just what we were watching. And at the same, so there, I forget again because I forget things. there was another team that came in when we came in, so the NHL was expanding quite a bit, and then Miami, Florida, and another team expanded the next year. So I think Fox picked up the broadcast rights from the NHL, and for a time, you all may remember this, they used a little, I think it was a blue dot on the puck you could follow.
Oh, it was horrible.
Yeah.
You had no idea what was going to be. This blue thing made it even worse.
Yeah, you couldn't, it made it harder to follow, yeah.
Well, it was on standard definition too, so it was like that Pong game we used to play, like boop,
That's like
boop.
television screens were only this big back then. It was like about this size, so you're like, what is happening?
What is happening? What is happening? But it was still fun. And then there's this, no joke,
Yeah.
Manon Rhéaume. And so she made the first woman to play any of the 4 major sports, professional sports, happened right here.
Those jerseys are still the
I
best.
thought that was a
those
guy,
are
and I was like, damn, he's pretty. So I'm glad that
No,
thank you.
His
Good for her.
You didn't have
His
to say
favorite
that.
team was the Atlanta Flames.
You didn't have to vocalize that.
Was that a preseason game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Definitely exhibition. I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But she
incredible.
was,
I didn't know that.
it was, and she understood the role she was playing, and that there's a lot of criticism towards her, a lot of, jokes at her expense. But she was really a groundbreaking athlete.
My mom said she was a hell of a blocky lady.
She was a hell of a
How
blocker.
long did she play?
30 seconds.
Yeah, well, she played the game. She had several saves. Even.
Nice.
But I don't think she played very long. You all may have a better memory than I. But I guess there was a women's professional league she
Good for her.
excelled in. She was really, really, really good player. But it's another really kind of neat thing of our history. And she played in that stupid barn because it was during the first season. And then I don't think I have a slide for it. And so then they moved to what is now Tropicana Field, which they renamed the Thunderdome.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was my first hockey game.
Yeah,
Thunderdome.
at the Thunderdome. And I think for a while the Lightning had the single game attendance record because of that. But I don't think that's the case anymore because the outdoor games maybe
Right.
that. But there was quite a long time
It was,
because
yeah.
that they actually opened the upper deck for once in the what is now.
I used to open it all the time, every game.
No, because people actually went to those games.
Yeah, people actually went.
Yeah,
Because
I
it'd be
think
like $5.
I think the Lightning still outdraw the race. Even though they play
Oh,
twice as many games.
for sure.
Yeah, they play twice as many
Lightning games are so fun.
Yeah. Well, raise your game.
Soon
And
as
then the Ice Palace that opened in 1996, our neighbor to the north a little bit, and it's gone through several name changes. The Ice Palace, St. Pete Times Forum, Tampa Bay Times Forum, now then Amalie Arena, and now Benchmark International Arena.
Ice Palace forever.
I know.
Ice
It's always
Palace. Ice Palace.
It's the Ice Palace.
100% agree.
It is funny when you say like the wrong name and people correct you, like you just offended a race of people. Like, yeah, we're going to Amalie. You mean Benchmark? I'm like, all right, calm down.
Sorry.
My bad.
So the street that we're on is Water Street, and that's the historic name of the street. But when they opened the Ice Palace, and they didn't really care what else was down here because it was 1996 and there was nothing else down here, they renamed the street Ice Palace Drive. And then when the St. Pete Times purchased the rights to it, they called it St. Pete Times Forum Drive. And then we were going to move in here, and we did in 2009, and we already were, a little unknown as an institution. And we were the Tampa Bay History Center, which is a little ambiguous about what side of the bay we're on. And so it concerned us to be the Tampa Bay History Center on St. Pete Times Forum Drive in downtown Tampa.
That sign was like this long, too.
It was, because it was St. Petersburg Times.
It said et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. It was way too much
four point type.
It took you actually at the end of the sign. You were in St. Pete.
So we asked the city if they would change the name back to Water Street, and the city politely said no, we won't. Because we don't want to confuse 911 dispatchers who are going to go to Waters Avenue and they may end up on Water Street. Never mind that the two streets coexisted together for 100 years.
Yeah, but if you grew up here, you know that 911 gets called to Waters Ave way more than
that's
Street.
That's right. And so they gave us a compromise, and they said, since it's the original name, we'll call it Old Water Street. And so, so we had the address Old Water Street. Well, when Water Street development came about, Vinnick and his cohort didn't like the old Water Street. They have a little more pull than we do. So they asked the city to change the street back to Water Street, and the city said, yes. Shockingly.
What are you, billionaires?
Yes. Can we actually improve the street for you? We will. And so they did. And so we are now Water Street, thank goodness. And because it would be now on our 5th street name. We're thinking about letterhead changes and things like that too. So.
Sorry, I have a question about the street names. Didn't we used to be called Channelside, or was that like a district?
No, Channelside was a district, and Platt Street was originally called Platt Street. Platt Street, now it's called Channelside. From this side of the bridge, going all the way to the aquarium. Actually, I'm sorry, going all the way up Old 13th Street to Adamo.
It's like Sparksman's Wharf now,
which
right?
was first.
Sparkman Wharf.
Sparkman Wharf is now the name of Channelside.
Yeah.
But they didn't
Hold
change
on.
Yeah.
I live in Brandon. Did you just say Adamo?
Yes, Adamo.
Adamo.
He's Italian. His name's Adamo.
You're right.
Wow.
Dr. Adamo.
I'm leaving.
Exactly. Go on First Avenue if you want to be really cool.
I'm moving to Waiter Street.
It's Adamo, because the lady on the radio said it every day.
Well, is it
The
Bears
traffic
or
report
Beers?
says Adamo.
Beers.
It is Beers. Yeah. God dang
And
it.
see the Indigo's nice.
Del Mabry?
No, yeah, he's
Okay,
Are you having a stroke?
I am. This is ruining my 50 years of my...
All right. Okay, so now we're getting into Stanley Cup.
Torts.
2004. One of my all-time favorite quotes. It's kind of given away there because they overtitled it, but we'll just listen to John Tortorella, the coach of the Lightning in through the 2004 season.
During the Lightning's 04 playoff series with the Flyers, Tortorella unleashed his fury on then head coach Ken Hitchcock for allegedly mouthing off at one of his players.
When it comes to a coach to an opposing player, it's disrespectful and it's wrong. It's gutless. That's got to stop. Park your ego, shove it in your pocket. It's about the two teams. I'm not in a battle. I am not in a battle. He isn't in a battle. Shut your yap.
He sounds like a wrestler cutting a promo.
I know. But shut your yap became kind of the mantra for the 2004 Stanley Cup playoffs. He was excellent his coach. He's still coaching, but I think Vegas.
Vegas for the next
Yeah, so
He's still
really? He's still,
Oh yeah, I didn't know that. All right.
He's still the coach in the league.
I have a little story about John Tortorella. I was with Coca-Cola back then, and we were delivering product for all the team members and everything, you know. And I'm in the locker room. There was a guy named Jim Pickford. He has 5 or 6 Stanley Cup rings. He was with the Islanders. He was the assistant coach manager. Just a great guy. And I'm there, and Tortorella comes in and says, "Who the F are you? I'm in my effing locker room." And Jim goes, "Well, he's giving all free product for the players here, and his company does $1 million a year sponsorship." And he said 3 words: "You can stay."
Nice.
Thanks for cleaning up the language. We appreciate it.
Yeah. You told him to shut his yap. And of course, they won Game 7. Amazing, whatever it is, 12 years after the incarnation of the team.
They beat the Atlanta Flames.
They did. Calgary, as they would say.
The year I graduated high school.
Melrose would pronounce Calgary.
Calgary.
And so...
Adamo. Calgary.
And so, exactly. And a little self-serving, I was there.
Yeah! Look at that baby face.
That's me and my brother. My brother and I went to all of the home games for that series.
They gave away Flying J, big giant jug mugs.
Yeah, they gave
nice.
Exactly.
Do
Filled with.
you still have your cup?
I do have that cup somewhere.
So do I.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still have it.
And the hat. Remember they're selling the Stanley Cup hats. I'd never spent more on a baseball cap my entire life. I think it was $40 for that stupid cap.
Well, in 2004, that's big money. I mean,
Yeah.
Now they're like $60 just
know,
for
right?
any of them.
But we also, because we're both Floridians, we thought it would be fun to wear, tropical shirts for the Canadian, team that we're playing against, and so a little bit of a Florida tricky thing to do. But that's what we did.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
And so then he wore his shirt and I wore proper clothes when we met at the Tampa Tribune when the Tribune was still open because they brought the cup there and we got a picture with the cup, and so that was fun. But we stayed in the arena for probably an hour, and then we went into Patrick's.
So this was after the game.
This is right after the game. You can see the scoreboard has the score 2-1.
Oh,
Yeah. Nobody wants to go home.
Yeah.
No one wanted to go home. Oh my God, it was really amazing. I'd never been, so yet to have been to a sporting event as fun as that.
And it was a regular parade, no boat parade.
Exactly, a regular parade.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And so we thought, great, Dynasty, we've got this great team. Going back the next year, nah, not so much. The lockout happened. And so with that, the team kind of started falling apart. And we went through, made the playoffs, and we actually had some hope with this young man.
Hey.
This campaign was huge. They had these bumper stickers and just things all over town about Stamkos. And it turns out that he turned out to be a pretty damn good player.
Have you ever seen somebody with so much hype actually turn out to be as good?
The pressure, yeah.
Because I remember thinking, this guy's going to stink because they're doing all these bumper stickers and all that.
Oh, it's everywhere.
And he ended up being one of the best players in the history of the game. So, yeah.
I was hoping he was going to come back this year, but...
There was rumors that they were going to trade back for him.
But we haven't seen Stamkos come on. I think he still lives in the island.
Hey,
so
we love him.
We can see him now.
We always will.
Yep.
And then in 2018, I forget exactly why, but they brought the Stanley Cup during Gasparilla, and it made its way onto the pirate ship. And so these guys right here are with the NHL, and they're the caretakers of the cup, dressed as pirates, so they fit in. And this had to be probably the most fearful 2.5 hours of their lives. Because that was on board the pirate ship.
Oh my God.
I'm there.
And
I almost got tasered that
and
day.
so it has a little life jacket in case it goes overboard. I'm guessing it may have helped, I don't know, but it made it all the way through the voyage.
I say if we win the Stanley Cup this year, we invite Tom Brady to the parade and we have him toss it in between boats.
It's much heavier than the Super Bowl.
He can do it. He can do it.
That's again, I can't exactly recall why that happened, but and one of those fun Florida things, fun Tampa things. If you have a pirate ship and you have a Stanley Cup, they belong together.
Yeah.
And then though we have the back-to-back cups, 20 and 21, the COVID year, and then the follow-up with the boat parades, which is really an amazingly cool tradition, or whatever instance, that maybe become a tradition if we win anything again. We'll see if we can actually pull it off again. But it's such a neat thing that we can do that not a lot of communities can do, and it was such a great way to celebrate.
Well, they can't do it now, even if they have a river or they're on this, because it's ours.
Exactly.
They look like
They'd be
big
totally,
thieves.
totally copying but I'm sure something. And we will give the last word, but we will give the last word, but we will begin the end of our talk with this man. And one of the best press conferences ever to occur.
He's going to say a bad word, sir.
We have Nikita Kucherov. Will you please raise your hand if you have a question? We'll start with Joe Smith, the athletic.
Joe, let's hear it. How would you describe, congratulations, how would you describe your emotions right now after doing what you guys did?
I don't know what to say. Fucking back to back, and I couldn't sleep for 3 nights. And to be able to win this game is huge. Wesley was outstanding. MVP. I was telling him every day, Wesley, you're MVP. You're the best player. And then they gave it to whatever the guy in Vegas. And then last year they gave Vegas to somebody else. Number one bullshit. Number one.
Number one bullshit. I remember that.
The t-shirts.
T-shirts.
He's MVP, and I was keep telling him he's MVP. He's the guy that fucking. He's the best. I'm so happy I didn't want to go back to Montreal, but they acted, the fans in Montreal, come on. They acted like they won the Stanley Cup last game. Are you kidding me? Is it long enough? Answer.
This sounds like me explaining to my wife what happened when I come home at 2 a.m.
Inside.
Just talk about the...
What did he say? Yeah, buy a new microphone. There's here. That's a Bud Light, That's not champagne.
Oh.
That's the number one culture again.
So it wasn't champagne.
I love Simon. He's one of the best, and he's so funny too. Like, you know, like he says something, I'm laughing. It's not even funny, but I'm laughing. He's funny to me. He's got a good sense of humor, and you know, he keeps the guys, and you know, the guy, everybody wants to push themselves, and you know, Hayes the same way, and you know, I'm really happy for those guys, and I'm really happy to be part of whatever we went through, and you know, we went back to back. Come on. Come on. He wants to prove me he's the best, but I know he's the best, you know? He wants to prove me, but I'm like, Wesley, you proved me a fucking long time ago. When I was 15, you proved it to me. I was like, no question, he's the best. He's gonna be the best, whatever, he's gonna make it to the NHL. And he's very humble, and you know, he keeps working. Even though like, he's getting robbed every year by NHL, not getting the Vezina. He's still humble, he still works hard, and you know, if he would play on a different market, he would take this Vezina year after year. He would beat all the records, whatever, blah, blah, blah. He's the best. But he's very humble.
I'm saying the Tampa Bay Times.
It's a lot of questions too today, yeah?
What are you, a cop?
I'm used to 2 questions, but today it's like, what, 5? Make a record. He was definitely special to see everybody. We had a full crowd today, didn't we? Unbelievable. They were so loud.
It's a Stanley Cup.
Maybe
Maybe it's something.
To win in front of them, it's so special. Everybody's gonna remember for the rest of their lives this moment. And come on, man, our fans is the best, and I don't know what to say.
Thanks, Nikita.
That's what my Uber driver's like. We've been at your house for 10 minutes. Get out.
You're the best Uber driver.
I guess kind of one last thing to say is we had the outdoor game earlier this season, and everybody thought it was going to be a total failure. Why would you play outdoor hockey in Tampa? It's it's nuts. Apparently they heard about the snow show and how disaster that was.
Yeah.
But it was cold.
Super cold.
Too cold.
Yeah.
It was actually too cold.
They had to heat the ice up,
They
right?
had
They had to warm the ice.
The ice was too hard.
And it could have been a better game. Massive comeback, goalie fight. Everything happened.
Goalie fight.
So good. Yeah.
John Cooper looking like a mobster.
Tony Montana.
Yeah, so Tony Montana.
That was the best hockey game I've ever seen.
It was incredible. Yeah.
It was a great way to.
If you want to get more fans into hockey, do that every time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, when you had the Pirates come out, and for a minute, I was like, this is a little hokey, and then like 30 seconds later, I went, that's pretty badass.
Yeah, it's very cool. So that's it. Now on to the Stanley Cup in 2026. Any questions that we probably can't answer because we've known nothing?
She'll answer any questions you have.
Vasilevskiy, the goalie. The Vezina is the regular season award for best goalie.
And he said that dude in Vegas. He didn't even know his name.
The disrespect.
The dude in Vegas.
Yes.
If you're interested, you can find it on Netflix if you haven't seen it. It's called Hockey at People's Game. It's either a 5 or 6 part series about the history of hockey.
No.
So it takes it from its origins to past. It's probably a few years old now, so it's not exactly current. That was really pretty cool. Learned a lot of things I didn't know. Follow-up is there's a movie
I've never heard of that.
called Rocket in 2005. It was about Maurice Rochelle.
Oh, yeah.
So another thing I didn't know about the riot. The Rochelle riot in 55, I think it was. So 2 pretty cool things that we really need to learn about.
Yeah, exactly. No, there's obviously great stuff out there, but it's such a neat sport and one that none of us would have been exposed to.
If I can, there's a third one. It's called The Enforcers, and it's all about, which is really great to watch the evolution.
I just saw that advertised.
Of their role.
Well, the funny thing about the lockout that prevented 04 team to go back to back, which they could have. Who knows what they did? But a lot of the things that they changed, of course, the economics of it, but they had some rule changes in there as well. And I think a lot of that took out some of that enforcer stuff. They're still obviously fighting.
Yeah.
But they took a little bit of that away.
I
So
remember-
your classic goon isn't so much anymore.
I remember that the Lightning were getting beat up so much when I was a kid that they announced that they were sending guys to boxing lessons.
Nice.
But it worked though.
It wasn't like
It
real
worked.
lessons.
Like-
They were just sending them to honky tonks in Sefner after the games. So, yeah, I still think it's a trip that it's really the only sport where two guys start beating each other up, and the refs go, let's give them a couple minutes, see what happens. You know, like,
Let them
there's
work it out.
It's to stay
And
on
then they
their
can
feet.
still play in the
They
game
stay on
after
their
that.
feet.
Yeah, even in boxing, they go, oh, let's get a little crazy, break it up. But not in hockey, they're like, knock his teeth out.
Hockey players are built different than any other sport.
Oh,
that's what makes it the coolest.
Well, we actually have in the audience, you probably doesn't want to say a whole lot, but we actually have one of the Lightning's doctors here, Dr. Chuck Sloman.
The real hero.
Yes. His wife Barry is on staff here, and so Chuck, actually, as you guys leave, he probably happily show you the 3 Stanley Cup rings that he is currently wearing.
Very nice.
What's the craziest injury you've seen?
Yeah.
What's the worst injury you've ever seen?
Well, I put 108 stitches in somebody at the game.
108.
The skate.
Yeah, the skate,
It was
yeah.
a skate injury.
Oh, that's a knife fight, yeah.
Damn.
Did they go back and play that game? Or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, they came back in the third period.
Oh my God.
Will you please indulge me and tell the story of the post-celebration visit you made? You don't have to name names, just.
The boat. After the boat parade, there was a number of players that had their friends in Canada and everywhere else. One of the players was in Davis Island, who remained anonymous. One of his friends somehow fell in the middle of the night. He was really mad because he bled all over the place, and I cut his forehead across the front, and I didn't tell anybody because he was drunk and he was passed out. So they called me to see if I could sew him up, so I sewed him up on this dining room table.
Nice.
It was a glass dining room table, and so I sewed him up on the table.
Wow.
And one thing that you
I don't need
mentioned,
a hospital.
face masks early on, is the flat stick. The flat stick did not bring the puck up off the ice. It wasn't until the curve. It could bring it up. It's not like it didn't. But you'd have to slow your stick so that you could lift the puck, and you wouldn't get as fast a slapshot. So that's why they were wearing it, and not many were injured that quickly. The helmet was just so that you didn't get hit in the head with a stick or hit the ice on your head. Fell. That's where helmets came in, and then all of a sudden the visors now are required. There were a few players that were grandfathered or grandmothered in until the end of their tour that they were still allowed not to. Or one of the referees, because I've sewn up the referees as well.
Oh, God.
I'm the cut man.
Wow. Yeah, they take it.
Yeah, I guess that
They
makes
usually
sense.
cut away though.
Yeah.
I've been with them all 33 years.
That's a great point about the curved stick coming in the same time as the runs.
That's the coolest thing I've learned all night.
Yeah,
That's
that's
really
really
cool.
Just shout it.
Yeah.
You don't have to raise your hand.
It's kind of a funny story, not really funny, but, so we're good friends with Chuck and his wife. And, my mom was sitting in the audience at a Lightning game one time and, got hit in the face with a puck. And, she's a doctor that helped.
Hilarious.
Wow. Oh, that is funny, but not funny. I agree.
Usually, audience injuries are taken care of by the Tampa General. I just happen
to be there.
So it was.
What are you guys' favorite Lightning players? You guys have a favorite one?
Current or
That guy right
of
there.
all
It
time?
could be any
Cooch, but I also
current,
love Hedman. I
retired.
love Victor Hedman.
Hedman's good.
Hedman's awesome, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I always
there's-
love Vinny LeCavier.
I like LeCavier.
growing up.
I'm a big Dave Andrewchuk fan.
yeah,
Okay.
of course, legendary player. I mean, but like, I mean, I love Braden Point. I mean, I obviously Stamkos is he's probably my all-time favorite.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but
I still love Hoppy
Lassie
Bolin.
is one of my favorites too.
Nikolai.
Yeah.
Javi Bolin.
Yeah, Javi Bolin.
Well, you're going.
That was his mask. Was
he had the bad.
I mean,
Yeah,
if you're going back to 2004, I mean, obviously.
That's when I started watching.
St. Louis,
Yes,
you know.
St. Louis,
I love him too.
Vinny,
Even Richards.
Richards. I mean, I think he won the MVP for that playoff. So I mean, so that whole team was spectacular.
Stacked.
Yeah.
Well, that's why they really could have. They had a
I think
legitimate
they should have
chance.
gone back to
There was a
They had a
chance for
legitimate
back-to-back,
chance for them to
yeah.
go back to back, and they got totally screwed.
And it was funny because I remember I was a fan, but I still was struggling with the rules. So I remember watching that series and going, I still don't know what icing is. I don't know what they kept calling icing, and I'm like, somebody tell me what it is. And they're like, we're not telling you, you dummy. And I'm like, all right, well.
I just trusted them. I was like, okay, it's icing, whatever.
I'm like, there's ice everywhere.
All right, whatever you say, guys.
Yeah.
So is there some sort of a league tradition, or is it just a Lightning tradition that they look really sharp before the games?
Oh, like wearing the suits and all that? I think that's a team-by-team basis.
Yeah, that's yeah. And I think for that game,
Team culture.
Yeah.
They wanted to make a really big entrance, and so of course they had the Bucks uniforms. That
Oh,
they
yeah.
were wearing.
That was amazing.
It was really
Yeah,
really
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it was really
They wore
good.
the Bucks
Just
uniforms,
worst
yeah.
walk
I mean,
in.
you've seen it. There other sports will do that too, and you've seen it kind of trickle down. There's even high schools that will make their teams walk in, you know, with suits on and stuff because they believe that culture. It's a winning. If you look good,
Winning
you play
attitude,
good.
yeah.
You know.
The NHL just changed that rule.
Yeah.
They're now allowed to wear casual. It used to be all coat and tie when they left the stadium, but it was just this year that they can have t-shirts, slacks, no socks, shoes.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I know that's how they look so.
Well, when you leave the stadium.
Yeah, entering, I think.
Well,
is
but even
good.
like going in the stadium.
Yeah, going in you can dress. Yeah, going in.
Well, you
dress
see,
up.
like in the NFL, some of these players are walking in dressed as Freddy Krueger,
Yeah,
Teletubbies.
well, the
and like, what is
NBA
going
does
on?
that a lot.
The NBA, it's like, what are you doing? You know, I'm sending a message, and then they lose by 30. I'm like, that wasn't good. Yeah. So.
Remember the Rays, Joe Madden would have the rookies wear themed outfits.
Yeah. Well, it was funny. I was probably 5 years into doing stand-up, and I got a call from the Rays, and he said Joe Madden wants to have a comedy show before the game in the locker room, and he wanted to get like 3 or 4 comics, and I was so excited. I was like, let's do it, you know. And they
How'd they do that game?
they ended up cutting it. I guess they were like, no, we don't want too much, you know. Tomfoolery,
distractions,
and they ended up losing like 9-1 to Toronto. I'm like, should have had us come in, dude. Yeah, so what should have happened?
What was the attendance always pretty strong here, like from the get-go? Or?
It seems like the Vinix really put the Lightning
for the last for the last 20 years for sure.
Well, the Japanese ownership was not particularly good, and then there was a guy who came in. We were talking to somebody who's a movie producer, and he was okay. But really, it was when Vinnick bought the team, he really made the team a part of the community. And I think that really, really helped.
Well, that and the stadium experience also went way up when you got Greg Wolf involved and all these different people coming in. You got a DJ up here. I mean, they really make it such a show.
Test the coils.
Well, that Oregon's insane.
And it's a culture they created, you know, that makes people all want to come out.
When it was in St. Pete, they would give away a ton of tickets, and then you could get decent seats for like $25.
Yeah.
So when it was at the Thunderdome, but it would be packed out. It would be packed out every time.
Yeah.
And then when it moved to the Ice Palace, like Johnny was saying, the experience got so much better that it was always packed for 20 years.
Yeah, even now, like I tell everybody, the best sport to watch live is hockey. 100%, not even close. And the best team to watch live is the Tampa Bay Lightning because, I mean, Vegas does a great job. If you've ever been to Vegas and seen a game there, they got the Dragon and all this stuff, and it's in the night and all that. But the Lightning is so consistently good. It doesn't matter if it's a Tuesday, if it's a Wednesday or a Monday. It's like every game is a playoff game as far as the production value. And you get your money's worth, and also the staff in the stadium, everything is perfect.
The best club seats I've ever gotten. They have a cigar lounge in the stadium. Like it's awesome.
Yeah, I have media credentials, and I hate to even use them because I can't drink up there. You know, so I'll go up there and just eat all the Chick-fil-A and then take my badge off and run downstairs.